Hello, everyone. We're just waiting for people to hop on. We'll probably start shortly after the noon hour. It would be great if you could enter in the chat where you're from, maybe your specialty.
Was that a yawn?
Oh, sorry.
No worries. We have people from all over. That's great.
Oh, good. Eileen, I can't see. Can you tell me where they're all from?
Yes, we have people from Texas Nursing in Dallas.
Perfect.
And Hines, Virginia, and Raleigh, North Carolina, and New York City, West Virginia.
I don't know about
Missouri.
anybody else, but it's rainy and it's one of those days you actually want to stay in bed.
You look like you're at work, so no rest for you.
Nope, and it's really busy.
Yeah, we got Montana State.
All right. What do you think? We should probably get going.
Yeah, I would get going.
Okay. Hello, everybody. So not to fear, if any of your friends want to see this, this will be recorded and sent out. And you can also find it on the Nurse Hack for Health website. Okay, so I am Hiam Nadal, and I'm the director for the Center of Innovation and Care Delivery at Mass General Hospital in Boston, and the president and one of the founding members of SONCL. Does the team want to introduce themselves? Eileen? Oh, you're on mute, Eileen.
That's a problem. Eileen Quilty from the Johnson & Johnson nursing team. It's really nice to meet everybody. Thank you so much for coming today. You are in great hands with Hiam.
Nico?
Hi, everyone. I'm Nico Shashi. I'm the Executive Director of SONCL, one of the co-organizers of the Nurse Hack for Health program. And we're really excited to have you join us today. And are looking forward to hacking with you during the weekend next week now.
It's coming very fast. Okay, so what I'd like to do today is just go over a few logistics of what's going to happen over the weekend. And then we'll go into the framework for how to create your pitch and how to get your idea across. And then we'll give you some presentation tips. And then we're going to provide you with the templates that are mandatory that you use for the hackathon. And then we'll open it up to questions, and then you'll be good to go. Okay, so a little bit of logistics. This always happens. Oh, there we go. So we're just going to review over the weekend. So Friday night, we will have the keynote speaker at 6 o'clock. You and your teams will be able to begin hacking overnight on Friday, and then hack all the way through Saturday. And then on Saturday morning, I think it's at 10 or 10:30, if somebody can correct me, we'll have a design session. So for those of you that attended 10 o'clock. Thank you, Eileen. So for those of you that didn't attend or did attend yesterday, Marion Leary's design thinking session, we'll have another designer that will be giving a little session on that on Saturday morning. Then at 2:30 on Saturday afternoon, you will have the opportunity to practice your pitch. We've engaged some practice coaches, so they will listen to your pitch and give you some feedback. And that way you have time to make any adjustments through the afternoon and evening, and then for your final presentations, which will be on Sunday. So at 10 a.m., you'll have to have all your presentation PowerPoints in, and then the final presentations begin in front of our judges/panelists at 10:30. So what happens during the practice pitches? So your team will present their preliminary solution to track leads and coaches. And then those coaches will give you feedback. And then you'll have time again, as I mentioned, to make some adjustments and then come back for your final pitches. For the final pitches on Sunday at 10:30, your teams will present to panel experts. We call them panelists or judges. And then those, so you will have 5 minutes to present to them. They will have 3 minutes to ask you questions and or provide feedback. And then, of course, for the health system teams, we will be giving you an opportunity, if you are chosen, to move on to a pitch-a-thon. For those of you that are individual hackers, you have other things that will be coming forward, such as an opportunity to be mentored by the NIH and moving to a scholarship for Drexel Innovation Entrepreneurship Certificate over the weekend. You know what I did? There's one slide. Oh, here it is. So again, if you haven't been to an information session, there is the final one tomorrow at noon. So please try to attend that. That will go over everything you need to know during the session. Also, on Thursday, we will have our Microsoft team giving you some feedback about navigating the teams. And Friday, again, the same time for Tech Talk and AI. Also, on Thursday afternoon, which is not evening at 7, we will have a guest speaker, e-patient David, to talk to us again about the hackathon and presenting some of his expertise. So I really, really encourage you to be there. All right, so let's go back to the pitch flow. So what the pitch flow consists of is a story. So tell us how you came about to understand the problem, which will lead into your problem statement. And then we want to hear about your solution. I'm going to go into deeper detail about all of these in just a moment. We expect you to have a competitive slide, which tells us, what the current solution is and or what is being currently done from other competitors out in the market, and of course, how your solution differs and addresses all the gaps. So customers is who are you innovating for? And it could also include who do you think will pay for your solution, and anybody else that may be needing to make the decisions around, or other team members that you may need. And then you'll have the opportunity to highlight your team, and then a closing remark about, what I always say, what are the 3 things you want your panelists, judges, or audience to walk away from? Okay, so I usually like to work within a framework. And again, we'll go into these much deeper, but it's really easy to remember these. And what my experience has been, when teams work within a framework, their pitch flow nicely. You always don't forget to have your important and relevant information on your slides. And it also, in that flowing presentation, it won't be confusing to your audience. They'll continue to follow you, which is really important, because if in fact it's confusing, it's disruptive, you will lose your audience. So those are the important things about why working within a framework. All right. Also, we talked about storytelling. So we really want you to weave storytelling throughout your presentation. So why is that? So storytelling really brings us in and really captures our attention. We tend to remember stories rather than statistics, etc. And also, it gives us hope, and we want to be able to try to solve this problem with you. So, and that's what you really want. So, Act One is really the setup. Again, what happened? How did you understand the problem? Why now? And then the struggle. Like who's out there in the market that is trying to do the same thing? What are the gaps within their solution? How you plan to close those gaps? And then again, a little bit about the market size and the depth of the problem. And then the solution is what we can become. So you give a little bit of hope, vision, you wow them from your team. And so we want those judges to say, you know what, I really want this team to win because I want to see this solution out there. So that's a little bit about storytelling. But the first slide, and we're going to give you templates. I don't want you to worry. This is just giving you some examples. So for the headline, you really want to set the context. So this was a team that won in another hackathon that we had. And so they had a name. So if you can think of a name for your solution, that would be great. But I don't want you to worry about those kind of things. And maybe a tagline so that it gives us a little bit of insight into what your solution is. And this is Lumify. It was a nightlight for nurses. And so we're just giving you this as an example. Okay, so then heart. So again, make me feel something through your story. Okay, so this is where your problem articulation will come. So let me give you an example of what I mean here. So your story could be around something that happened to you. For me, I was on the neuroscience floor. I had a patient who had a stroke and was about to leave the hospital the following day into rehab and then fell. And it fell in that sustained injuries that needed him to go back to the intensive care unit. I was devastated. Here I was taking care of this man for all these days. His family didn't have any more trust in me. And I really felt like I needed to solve this problem. And then when I looked at how big patient falls was, I realized that it was a 54 billion problem to our health systems. And for us, for current situation, we just need to, what happens now is we just identify a patient at risk. We tell them, please don't get up, call us, but that never happens and it never really works. So when you talk about who's affected, so not only did it affect my patient, but it affected the family who no longer had trust in me. It affected me as the nurse, etc. So you want to make people really want to hear your story and understand exactly what happened. So head, so what is your solution? Okay, and this is where you should spend most of your time to try to describe how your solution works. And then how once you identify your competitors, how does your solution differ and close the gaps that other people have not thought about? And so we ask you that we want a minimally viable product. And so it could be a sketch, it could be, it doesn't have to be anything really robust, but something enough that you can actually put it out to your audience, okay, and have it tested, get feedback. Lots of times I just do paper, or I do an Excel sheet, or I do something like that just to get it out and be able to test it so I can get feedback. And then you begin to develop your idea more and more from that feedback. Okay, and so again, how does it work? We talked about current competitors. We talked about, we're not going to have you do a robust business plan, but you ought to be thinking about who is really going to pay for your solution. And also, are you going to start small? So maybe I'm going to start in the stroke unit to try to solve patient falls, but I may expand it to the rest of the hospital or beyond that to any health system, right? So you want to talk about how you can scale it. And those are the things that, you think about. And then again, what is your vision? Make me feel like I have hope and I want to choose you as my team so we can make you go to the finish line and develop this further. And again, what are the 3 things that you want your audience to remember about your solution and about you and your team? And then the big close. Okay, so now let's go into some presentation tips. We're going to ask you to really divide and conquer over the weekend. So what that means is each of your team members should probably be working on a slide or 2, and then coming back as a team and making sure that you have all the information. We ask that there are only 1 or 2 presenters, and you want to really choose your best presenters to do this. And the reason we only say 1 or 2 presenters is you only have 5 minutes, and transitioning from presenter to presenter eats up some of your time. You should have enough knowledge about the solution and about the problem, so when the panelists or the judges ask you questions, you're prepared to answer. And as if you've seen with my slides, less words, because people if you're doing a presentation, people are just spending the time trying to read your slides instead of listening. So you should be speaking to your slide and less words. And I can't say enough about how much you should practice. And one other thing I should add on this slide is you cannot have a video to embed into your presentation, because from experience, we found that videos sometimes don't work and you're spending a lot of time trying to get that to work. So no video. Okay, so again, you have 5 minutes max, 1 or 2 presenters, again, maximum. At least one of the presenters must be a nurse. And again, we're going to give you the templates to use, and you could only have up to 10 slides. And then you'll see in a moment that each slide asks you questions and gives you hints of what you should have on your slides. So if you forget everything I said, we embedded it. Again, using this template is mandatory. And then again, do not embed videos into your presentation. Okay, so here's the template. And you will have access to this. What we did is we also included some suggested time spent on it. You don't have to follow this completely, but it gives you some suggested times on how much you should spend on your slide. Okay, so this is your project title and logo. And if you have other things that you want to put on here that gives us insight into your solution, you do that. The story, again, should spend about 45 seconds, make it a personal connection. And again, the story should thread throughout your presentation, tying it together, the setup, the struggle, and the solution. And then what is the problem that you're trying to solve? Again, it's about 45 seconds. Why is it important to solve this problem? Again, who is your target population? Define and quantify the size of the affected population. Again, don't spend too much time on this section, just cover the basics and back it up with statistics and data. And again, what is your proposed solution? And if you recall, I said this is where you really should be spending most of your time, so we could understand what your solution is, describe it concisely. How exactly is it going to work? Put people, walk them through step by step so they really understand it. Give evidence and data to support this claim, which means, we went out, we spoke to several nurses, and this is the feedback they gave us, or we spoke to patients, this is what they told us, and then convince the judges why your solution is superior. Again, this is the competitive slide. Who is your competition? If there's no one out there, make that clear that this is a very unique solution that you developed. And this is the way you should set it up. Use a competitor grid, name the competitors, and some of the quality of what they can and can't do, and how your solution will close those gaps and address those gaps. And customers, again, who will want to use your solution? Who's this for? Who else do you need as maybe decision makers? Who will be paying for this? Just some ideas about how big the market is and answering some of those questions. And then your team. So sometimes, the teams will run out of time. And this is where I suggest you put their picture and their skill set. So if you run out of time, the judges can see who your team is and what skill set they bring to the table. If you were out in the real world, a lot of investors actually invest because of the team. So you really want to highlight your team members and their expertise in their in what they bring to your solution. And again, for the health system teams, one of the members of the team should be an executive leader or sponsor or advisor. So that's that. And then again, your closing. Again, what are the 3 things you want us to remember? Give us some hope that we really want to see this out there in the market and we want to help you solve it. And I can't tell you how much to really practice. And each time you practice, you'll decide what, if you have too much information, too little information, or what is the relevant information that you want. So by practicing, you will really, really understand that. Okay, and that's the end. And so I'm going to open this up to questions. I hope I didn't go too fast. And again, this is recorded, and you will have the opportunity to listen to it again. And of course, always reach out to us if you have additional questions as well. If you think of things after this, this presentation. Okay, I thought I saw somebody's hand up, maybe not. You
yes,
can
I
cut.
put my hand up.
Okay, good. Go ahead.
This is Ashka Tebi. I'm with Duke. The reason I had raised my hand was, so we have a executive leader kind of leading us in the back, but not as an official team member. Is that going to be allowed? Do they have, like, what capacity do they have to be involved?
Eileen, do you want to take that?
Yeah, I mean, is the question whether or not they have to be like an active participant on the team? Like, we are just looking to ensure that you've got the full support of your management in the project that you're undertaking, because we've found that that will be absolutely critical to implementation. So that's the request. That's why we're asking for senior level support, kind of going in, knowing that they will, be there for you both, financially, if, additional funding is needed, besides the grant funding, as well as sort of the relationship and the emotional support to implement the solution. Does that help?
Yeah, it does. Another follow-up question to that. So, it's limited to 5 to 6 members, and I just wanted to make sure that, so we do have leadership backing us and giving us a support, but do we have to name them as an official member is what I mean, because it would limit how many people we can have on our team then.
Oh, no, I mean, I think that's just
yeah.
a guide for you. I would absolutely include them on your list of, executive sponsor or executive support, and list them. I mean, the number of people is really just a guide. It's not meant to be absolute. So if you have, 8 to 9 people, that's fine. If you have, 4 people, that's fine. It's just meant to be a guide, because we always get questions, how many people can we have on the team?
Got it. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
No problem. So it makes it easier when you have the templates. So at least, and by the way, there'll be adequate coaches, your track leads will be there. We'll all be around answering questions. We'll be checking on you, every team, and so you'll still have the opportunity to pull us in and say, what do you think about this in terms of presentation? So we'll always be there. Yeah, and I see another hand.
Yeah, this is Brad.
Hi.
Hi. Yeah, just a little bit, so there's going to be two different types of teams, right? One of them is going to
Yes.
be a group that comes in with a project, and then the other ones are going to be team members that form together, right? And come up
Yes.
with an idea. So I guess, within that kind of time frame, how do we go about let's say five people are on a team, five people come with five different ideas, how do we fit that into the rest of the scope of the project and the timeline?
Yeah, so it's a great question, Bradley. So what we always do with teams that have everybody has an idea of a solution, we ask you that you vote as a team to which solution you actually want to work on for the rest of the weekend, because you can't really work on different ideas unless you break up and have different teams to work on the solution. Did I answer that question for you?
Yeah, I was just trying to wonder, because we got to fit this, this could be a big discussion, right? And so,
Right.
I guess those coaches would be the ones that are helping us like, hey everybody, we have to come up, we need a vote in the next hour because you have to move on to these other phases of the project weekend, right? So
That's
I was
right.
just
That's
just
right.
trying to figure out how we fit that in with the timeline with everything else. But it sounds like we have coaches and other mentors who will help us guide that
Yeah.
communication if they think we're getting stuck.
You'll also have a track lead. I don't know if you want to talk about the focus area leads for each of the.
Yeah, so you will have your own track lead, depending on, depending on the focus area, and they're really hands-on. And let's say you're struggling, but they can't help you, the track lead, then we'll be able to put it into the team channel that you need. Let's say you might need some more help with business or tech, or they'll be able to get you those specific coaches with that specific skill set.
There's a
But
request to coach channel
yeah, request a
specifically where you
coach,
can, yeah.
And but your track team, they're usually fairly expert in innovation, and they will help you through some of those difficult things. But early on, I think it's great to get, what I usually do is get everybody's perspective, because you will have sort of a focus area, get everybody's perspective of what their idea is, and then as a group, immediately vote on which solution you want to try to develop for the rest of the weekend. And again, it's not so much the solution, but you should really be focusing on the problem that you want to solve, if that makes any sense, because the solution should really come at the very end of this weekend. And and the organizers ourselves will be around constantly as well. So you can always call us in. Any other questions?
Hi, this is Allison.
Yeah, Allison.
I wanted to ask for the other events that you said are duplicated throughout this week. The link for those Zoom calls, like uh, how do I get to those meetings?
Nico can correct me, but they should be on the Nurse Hack for Health. You need to register, right, Nico? And then you can download the calendar invite.
That's correct. Yes, if you click the link in the chat, it'll take you to the weekly events, the workshops, and each one is a live hyperlink to register.
Does it require pre-registration or can you just go day of?
You can go day of, but you will be required to register to access the meeting.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And all of that will be recorded, but just in case you can't make it. Chris, you have a question?
Hi, yeah, I was sort of getting the answer, I think, in chat box. I was just trying to see, so it's one team site with channels per team. And then, okay, and then there's a request to coach. Okay, so I was just trying to get how we're going to maneuver.
Yeah, exactly. And this is why Thursdays, 12 to 1, presentation will be important because they're going to walk you through all that. How do you request a coach? How do you have questions, and where do you put all that? Yeah.
Okay, so the Thursday, because we use MS Teams exclusively at our hospital, but it's more
Yeah.
MS Teams specific to this event, not general.
Yes,
MS
and
Teams.
because we've had issues in the past, if your organization doesn't allow you to, there's some quacky thing, and they're going to go over that on Thursday, how to navigate that.
Okay.
But generally I just open up because I have the same firewalls here. And so I usually just open it up in a different browser, but they're going to go over that. And I think it's really important how to navigate that, especially when your system is already using Teams.
Okay,
Well, you should
great.
try to go
Unless-
in ahead
yeah.
of time just to see if you have problems so that you get it ironed out ahead of time, because Friday night, you're really going to want to try to kind of go in, get, form or join a team and get hacking versus trying to work through Teams firewall issues. So as much as you can do ahead of time, that's why we encourage everybody to register and go in and make sure you can, get to Nurse Hack for Health,
Okay.
2023
then-
channel and maneuver in there ahead of time. And if you can't, then we'll get people to help you ahead of time.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Do I see another hand? Let's see.
Yes,
You
I
can-
just
yeah.
have a quick question about the info session tomorrow.
Yeah.
Whenever I click on it, it says it's at 7 to 8 p.m. Eastern or AM Eastern time, but I know you said 12. So I just wanted to confirm with you. Like it
Yeah.
says on the
Since I'm
schedule,
doing
it's-
that, I believe it's 12 to 1. Yes, it is.
It's
But when you click on it,
It says 7 p.m.
no,
Correct.
7 a.m. when I click on it and like actually register. And it's showing up on my calendar as 7 as well.
Oh, okay. Nico, do we need to change that?
Yeah, which is it the link under, I'm checking into it now as we speak.
So if you go
For
on
tomorrow's
the schedule
info.
itself, it says 12. But when you click on the link where you type in all your information so it can send you an invite, it says 7 a.m.
It might
I
just be
too
an
see
issue with the
that.
registration component. Let me get that up. Thank you for bringing it to our attention.
No problem. Thank you. So just to confirm, it's at 12.
Correct.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm glad you noticed that. That's great. Any other information? Let's see. So we have our health system teams, and then we have our individual hackers. Allison, were you going to say something?
Yeah, in the chat, the workthink recording, it's locked down. I'm not sure if accessibility is something that we have to go through someone to get access to. Like when I click on the link, it just says that
For the design thinking?
internal user only, correct?
Oh. okay.
Yes. Are you registered and have access to the Microsoft Teams channels?
I do. I
Okay.
am.
Are you on the Nurse Hack for Health tenant at the moment, or are you using another, whether personal or work?
I'm right now I'm using the Teams desktop mode. I'm not sure what the question
From your
is.
institution, if you click on your picture, what does it say
No,
there? Does it say
that's
nurse
my
hack for?
Oh no, it's my it says Nurse Hack for Health as guest. Because my institution has a lot of firewalls like you mentioned
Yeah.
earlier.
Mhm.
So I use my personal Teams account just to make sure to bypass a lot of that.
Mhm. And you still can't get in. Okay.
Okay.
Try that.
Yes.
Nico just
So
put in.
the recording is also on the website under the trainings tab. But if you are within Microsoft Teams, I just sent an announcement with the location of the recording within Microsoft Teams as well to access.
Nico, I got the same error message that she did. For your first,
For the first one,
yeah, the first one. The second
Well-
one, I'm able to get in under trainings.
then
The
I'm
trainings
going
one's fine.
to delete that. If you are within Microsoft Teams though, if you click in activity, I'm sorry, within Teams and the general channel, there's an announcement that was just posted about 8 minutes ago that has a link to the recording, as well as the Nurse Hack for Health website link as well, in case there's any.
Yeah, I'm gonna try the Nurse Hack for Health website just to see. Yep, I see it. Have others gotten into the Nurse Hack for Health website, able to get to that recording?
Yes, I'm able
Okay.
to.
Oh, perfect, okay. And you can always reach out to support. Is it support at Nurse Hack for Health, Nico, or just, what is that?
Yep, it's support at nursehackforhealth.org. Drop that in the chat.
Yeah, so if you need, if you have any questions or you're having issues, please let us know. And Chris said he had luck by going through Google Chrome, so Microsoft Edge is currently blocking it, but Google Chrome. That's good to know. Okay.
Yeah,
Great. Thanks,
I mean,
Chris.
sometimes, yeah, you might have to go back and forth, but
Yeah,
Chrome, it works fine right now. I can
okay.
click on everything, the video played.
Okay, good.
It's okay.
Thank you. All righty. Any other questions? We're here for you. Can't wait to see all of you next week. Can't believe it already. You're going to do great. You have so much help. You'll probably be saying, can you just get away? We're trying to work on our solution. But just so you know, there'll be tons of help. All righty. There are no other questions. We'll see you then. Thank you. Have a great day, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, bye.